Hey, we're back for Revenue Search 15, I guess. And we have the one and only Max from Subnet 44. So I've been looking forward to this. It's going to be a little bit tricky for Mark and I because we lost our virginity to Max.
What a way to start the revenue search.
Strong start, but that is true. That
So DSV's first OTC and Subnet play was Score, and we did a lot of research, trying to see who is the best, and we've been pretty deep with Score since then. So, we know quite a lot about Score, so we're going to have to act very dumb and ask a whole bunch of questions which we do know the answers for, but. So that's, I guess, one disclaimer that we have effectively gotten into bed with Score, and also none of this is financial advice. This is just an exploratory chat to see who the hell you are, Max, and the rest of your team. Who are you, Max, and also who's in your C-suite?
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Obviously, when you decided to back us up a few months ago, that was definitely a good signal for us, and it was such a good thing to know that people like you were entering this game this way. So thanks for that. Who am I? Just someone trying to leverage crowds and wisdom of the crowd since a couple of years to achieve good AI work, whether it's in data annotation like I did in 2020, or is it to create, if it is to create financial models when I did later before, setting up Score, or now in computer vision and sports with Score. I think I just realized that, the power of the crowd is unstoppable. So it's either you join this, you embrace this, and you try to find smart ways to, get people around you and your goals, or you just, go the traditional way and you just face other problems. But I definitely picked my battle, I would say. And my C-suite, I'm very fortunate, if I'm honest with you. I think I'm surrounded with incredible people, some of them with backgrounds in tech, sports, entertainment. Tim and Nigel, my two co-founders, early co-founders, have been doing crazy things in other industries. They even built a company with, one of the Gallagher brothers, member of Oasis. They built a fashion brand that they sold to a public company. We built some good tech together for other people, like Harry Kane. We built a football fan app with him. We've been doing quite a lot of stuff. So they have an amazing background. We also have obviously we're very fortunate to have Dr. Peter Cotton with us, working on the data science end. He's been managing quant strategies for hedge funds for quite a long time. And yeah, we've been also surrounded by different advisors of people you met in Paris that have backgrounds in, like, let's say, traditional startup worlds, building stuff for different companies. So yeah, I mean, and not just the C-suite, if I'm honest with you, even the tech team, the marketing team, everyone comes from a different background, but everyone gets the power of Bittensor. So it's fascinating to see how people are really hooked up around this kind of incentivized world of machine learning and AI and stuff like that. Yeah, is it a good answer? Or
it is a good answer. I mean, let's work on the brevity of those answers, because we do try and keep these to under 90 minutes. Nevertheless, we'll plow on. So when did you get started with Score? What was the idea behind it? And for a non-tech audience, can you explain what you're trying to achieve?
So the idea is, so I've been working with Nigel and Tim on the previous company I co-funded, and we were building AI models for hedge funds, banks, sovereign wealth funds. And we just happened to have a conversation with a football manager. And during this conversation, he said, well, there's two things I'd like to understand is, do you guys can do the exact same thing you do for finance, but for football? We said, probably. And second thing, he said, let me introduce you to someone who runs a sports hedge fund, because they want to get better data. So we started Score as a prediction subnet, as I'm always saying, and I'm completely honest with that. That was awful. Score Predict was not good enough. We've been called out by different people. we weren't too proud to say that they were right. And we just realized, talking with different people, coaching, coaches and other people, that we needed to kind of control the whole workflow, from the annotation of the video data to like the insight, the plain English insight, like this player should do X or Y or Z. Reason we started with football was just because of that. I mean, we were connected in this world, but we just realized that there was a huge need, both on the club side, I would say, and also on the financial market side.
So what is that need? What did that football team need? What did that football manager want? And what are you building to deliver on that?
Funnily enough, they both need the same thing. So they need structured data across different leagues, which means different video quality that you need to ingest across different areas of the world, to be structured the same way, so they could tap into this data to get plain insight, plain English insights. So they need the same thing. They need someone to collect all the videos in this world that are related to football, to understand if they can find something new, if they can find a gem, if they're trying to hire a player, or if they can find an edge on sports markets. Basically, they want the same thing. That the need is around. And by the way, this work for other industries. It's very hard to build video data sets because it requires a lot of effort on the annotation end, and also on different tasks. But I'm sure we're going to talk about this, so I don't want to have too long answers.
You're the first guest that's ever said that.
I'm trying to be.
We appreciate it. So hang on, let me say so like before I really got into this, Siam was explaining Bittensor to me, and he said that AI in the future is going to need all sorts of different abilities and functions. And he said some of those are a bit easier than others to achieve. One of the most difficult is going to be vision. Yeah. And that is why, and that's what you're trying to achieve, isn't it? You're like vision as a service for AI. And I guess that's why Siam was most excited about being a strategic partner of yours as early as possible, because you're doing a good job of making that function come alive. And you're starting off in football, because that's where it started. Where else can it go?
So that's sorry, go ahead, Simon.
Everywhere. I mean, there's endless markets that you guys can play in.
Yeah, so I would say our thesis is pretty simple. I think there's if we talk about sport, there's top clubs. They have all the money in the world. They can do whatever they want with data science, capabilities. If you think about CCTV, self-driving cars, robotics, medical imaging, you always have like top tier entities that are well funded. But actually, there's a long tail, a very, very long tail of businesses and entities that would need to process a lot of videos fast, in an affordable way, in an accurate way. And they always need the same thing. We started with sports because that was the shortest route to revenue for us. But actually, everyone needs the same thing. So they need tracking data, which we call annotation. So we need to have coordinates. Then you need to have events data. So you need to have a computer or a model or whatever that understands the scene, and that understands, for instance, in sports, when a goal is scored or when a player gets injured, yada, yada, yada. And then you need something called inference or predictability. So you need to be able to learn from the past, so you can get real-time data to predict what's come next, frame by frame. They all need the same thing. It works like a charm in football, because obviously there's betting market, there's the managers need stuff there, TV companies, broadcasters, they need to get like live analytics and stuff like that. But actually, you could apply that to anything that runs around video.
So the analytics is how I understood this to begin with. I can't remember whether it was you or Nigel that explained it to me in these terms, but it was very, very simple. So I'm gonna retell it, check I'm right, and I think it's going to be useful for anybody that's not technical. But in football, at the moment, when a game is going out, when it's being broadcast, whatever's happening on the pitch, there are people watching it, data labelers, that are literally writing down what's happening. There's been this many corners, he's touched it that many times, it's gone out for that many throw-ins. And obviously there's a cost to all of those data labelers. So at some level, like Premier League, you've got a handful of data labelers. When you go up to World Cup, you've got a room full of data labelers.
Yeah.
perhaps because of the cost, when you go down to grassroots football, there are no data labelers.
No.
And what you're doing is you are taking a camera view of that game, feeding that through your AI, and that's doing all of the data labeling in real time, so that you can label more data faster, more accurately, and at lower cost.
Exactly. I can even bring numbers if you want to. So let's talk about like a company. So I can't name them, but we have a customer in France. They are doing data labeling for, let's say, League 2, Tier 2 and 3. So not like top level, but just below. And they're trying to also have a data set of like young players. Everyone is trying to get to this point. They're a small company, and they're labeling 3,000 games per month, right? They actually have a budget of $150,000 per month just on annotation. They're literally paying $30 to $40 an hour to get data annotation. And there's thousands of companies that are doing the same. The reality is, with the subnet, you could do the exact same at 100th of the price.
Are they spending all of that $150K a month in that annotation?
Just annotation.
And you've already got them as a customer?
Yeah.
At 100th of the price that they
I
were.
mean, we didn't tell them that, so I hope they're not watching it, because obviously I got some margin on top of that. But
listen, I think that they would give you a lot of margin and still be all the way to the bank.
They should be happy regardless.
Yeah. So this is the state of the market, and you can definitely find customers that are looking for the same thing across all different industries. So that's the reason I'm always excited about the annotation part, and that's why we're focusing on that on the subnet, and that's why we're also trying to get the annotation to get done like quite quickly, because there's a lot of it's based on the customer needs. So some miners sometimes are arguing about, why are we pushing for that or this or that, but there's a reasoning behind that, and it's all driven with like revenue, all driven by revenue opportunities. So yeah, sorry.
Well, so and then on the data labeling side, it's not just about the broadcast in there. There's going to be even in football, there are other uses for the data. So clubs might be interested in that data because you'll be able to spot players that would be a good fit for them. And then there's the sports betting side of things.
Yeah.
How are things progressing on those two fronts?
I mean, we progressed faster on the betting end, obviously, because I think they're more prone to test things. I mean, they're gamblers, so they can obviously put money on new things. So yeah, it's moving quite fast. Our first customer is going to start using our predictive analytics in August. And when I say predictive analytics, obviously the subnet is not a prediction subnet, but what we do is we use our own annotations from the subnet to then build a pipeline for our customer. And the reason we do this is because we think we need to be better at annotating data first on the subnet. We think that this subnet should also sell this capability. So we want the subnet to be an annotation, like a video annotation subnet. There's a huge market for that. I mean, Scale.ai just been acquired like around 30 billion by Meta. And it left a huge gap on the market for good video annotation services. So that's why we're not adding tasks to the subnet yet. And then we just use our own coordinates annotation to kind of service the customer. Hopefully, in the next few months we'll add the other steps of our workflow on the subnet. But we're trying to be sensible with this.
So on the sports betting side of things, this is the announcement that you made in Paris. I was there when you did that. Just explain briefly what that is and how you're going to make money from that. So
they are a syndicate, like a large betting syndicate, but they handle billions of dollars each and every year. It's their AUM is around 5 billion, if I'm not mistaken. So they're large enough to call themselves sports hedge funds. Also because they use neutral market strategies, and what they need from us is an edge, finding an edge throughout the data we are collecting and the way we navigate through the data too. The deal is pretty simple. They're going to do the execution. We provide predictive analytics, and we're going to get a percentage of the upside, 20% of the upside, and no downside. So we're not going to get blamed if we give wrong indications, which is cool. But yeah, no, I mean, they're trusting us. We're super excited about that. Obviously, we're going to be able at some point to tell more about this, but the first way for people to see that this is a real customer is going to be, about us starting to buy back tokens. But I don't want to make it like a point, because I think everyone is going to start buyback tokens. So, it's just normal. It's business as usual.
But starting next month, you've got a big player that is placing bets on backing your advice. And then if they win, you're going to get 20% of that.
Of what they make, yeah.
Yeah, starting next month. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Siam,
what
are you thinking?
No, go for Max. You're about to say something?
No, I was just about to say, people need to understand that hedge funds work in a very specific way. So there's liquidation rules. We need to, reach a certain threshold for us to be able to withdraw the money we're owed, yada, yada, yada. But yeah, starting next month, real money is going to flow in back to our predictive analytics, yeah.
Nice. And with the alpha, like we asked this with everyone, but what are your plans for alpha buybacks?
Pretty simple. I mean, I just said this once. I'm going to start saying it everywhere. I mean, our strategy is to be very aggressive with our own alpha. So every time we're going to generate enough revenue to cover our costs, everything on top of that is going to be, used to buy people out. So it could be miners, could be people on the market, anything. We want to be protecting our alpha. For us, that's the crown jewels. So we're going to be very, very aggressive. I can't really drop a percentage here, because we need to see exactly how it looks like. But yeah, that's going to be very aggressive.
Fair enough. And do you know roughly how much per month that your miners need? Because really, in any subnet, the main alpha dumpage is with the miner. And I think one of the reasons Score has done so well is that you have very expertly, from a very early stage, made deep or good relationships with your miners.
Yeah.
So they've never been to my knowledge, a large majority of your miners have not been adversaries, adversarial mining, etc. They've been friends of yours, basically. So they've seen the upside of your subnet, and so they've decided to hold as much of your alpha as possible. So, and I think that positive symbiotic relationship between mine and subnet is something which I've rarely seen across all of the subnets. So that is a massive green flag in my book. But like, do you know roughly how much per month of tau or of your alpha that they sell?
Yeah, roughly, because obviously we're trying to talk with with everyone. Basically, we don't have like just one team on our heads. But obviously, we're good friends with some of them. But I would say roughly 200, 300 tau, something like that. Top teams each
per day?
No, per month.
Per month. Okay, that seems quite low.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Okay, so are you going to burn it, or are you going to lock it up? Like, what are you going to do with the alpha once you bought it? Because some of the concerns of alpha holders is like, oh yeah, that's fine, they're buying back, but they're just going to dump it on us later.
Yeah. No, so I don't have a clear split in my mind, but I think because I'm a huge fan also of deeping protocols, I think at some point you have to burn them, because you are creating a direct link with real world value that you capture and the pressure you put on the supply. And I think it's good signal. So I think burning this is important, but a portion of that. The only thing I don't want to do is I don't want to be so excited by the early days that we actually put too much pressure on the supply, and then we get, in 10 years, 20 years, because that's pretty much the timeline we have in mind. We then face other problems with the supply. I don't know how people are going to react to this, but I think it should be balanced between recycling or burning or just creating a new reserve or something. maybe it could be like a reserve, like a community, like a reserve we create for the community, and then we give them voting rights on what we should do with the reserve.
Yeah, I mentioned this. Was it yesterday with James? Like, so far, the solution which I think is very clever was actually John Durbin. That what he's come up with and what he's going to do with Shoots, where he's not going to burn it, but he's locking it up into a DAO eventually.
Yeah.
And that way he retains the voting rights, so the biggest chunk of the voting rights, but also the yield that alpha spins off is not wasted.
Makes all sense. What I like about the DAO aspect of things is I see subnets as mini L1s eventually. I think people are going to start building on top of subnets. So if you
100%.
front run this and you think about the DAO, then the DAO is going to be the perfect vehicle to bring builders on top of your subnet, because you would be able to do grants, you would be able to push some projects, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
When we were together in Paris, you were very keen to be a top 10 subnet, and you were just outside at that point, and you're in.
You're in now.
Yeah.
And I'm just interested as to where you attribute kind of that success trajectory to. Do you think it's down to fundamentals? Do you think it's down to the deal that you announced at Proof of Talk, or do you think it's down to the fact that you're actually doing some marketing and you've got videos going out and you're kind of on top of things? Just break that down. How much of a subnet success is down to the fundamentals at the moment, and how much of it is down to kind of smart comms?
Yeah, that's a fair point. I think marketing plays a lot, but only in a bad way. We're not blagging it. I think we're just trying to be clear and transparent about what we do. But also everything you mentioned. So when we talk to different, when we are talking with the mine, when we're being active with the miners, with the validators, with people from the ecosystem, trying to be net positive for the ecosystem too, I think you just create some sort of a momentum that you could benefit from. But yeah, comms are important, definitely.
Yeah, because it was interesting right at the very front of this when Siam was talking about your C-suite, who's on the team. You mentioned the marketing team.
Yeah.
And again, we're over a dozen revenue search episodes in, and I don't think anybody else has mentioned a marketing team.
No, your new podcast is professionally made. I mean, if anyone hasn't seen their podcast, it's like freaking national, like a TV.
Don't watch it, because then you'll come back to this and you'll be like, "Oh my god, they should get a better presenter."
Amateurs, yeah. What is the goal with that podcast? Is it? Or it's more of a documentary. I mean, it's Netflix quality. Is that just to get eyeballs on?
Yeah, definitely. So we just want people to understand that you can chat all things Bittensor without making them too complex and convoluted, right? And also we want to give people a platform where we can chit chat about. I mean, I think the good thing with sports is everyone has something to say about sports. So it's also a good platform for people to come in with their Bittensor hat on, but then at some point just talk about something else. So we just wanted to make it more culturally driven, if that makes sense. But again, we're just trying to help and do interesting things.
Okay. I'm aware of the time, so I've got a few more questions. So competitors. Now, I know a lot of people like to pigeonhole you as, oh, you're that sports betting football subnet. But again, over time, with some subnets within subnets, and like you said, vision. I mean, you can be in any market. But right now, with where you're sourcing your short-term income from, your short-term revenue over the next, say, 6 months, who are the main competitors there? We're ignoring the hedge fund sports bettors.
I would say companies like so. Again, because we're going to be very, very aggressive on the data annotation, I want to mention companies like Scale.ai. So that's important. And also companies like Hodl, Wisecout, Opta, Genius Sports, companies like that.
Nice. And a red flag that I had way back, months ago, when I saw you guys, is like, I've always had an aversion to dual token subnets.
Yep.
And when I started looking into you, I was like, god damn it, it's got this bloody D-King bollocks. And then I actually dismissed you for a good couple of weeks. And I was like, not interested. dual token, where's the priorities, blah blah blah. So for those that have no idea what deking is, like, can you quickly explain what deking is and how on earth, like, you're basically married to two tokens here now?
Yeah, that's a good question, and yeah, I agree with you. It's always weird when teams have too many things going on. But the reason we did this is because it was pre-DAO. We knew that we would have this kind of sports hedge funds angle, and just because we believe in Web3 ethos, we decided to launch the Web3 version of it. Cool. And we see it as a DAO. We think the community is going to take it over, and also we see deking as a customer to the subnet. So we went and created a tokenomics there that would automatically buy SN44 tokens or Subnet 13 tokens or Subnet X tokens that would help the model with new features. So yes, we made a bit of money with it. We ran it and we still run it for a few months. But I think the play here is to create almost like a DeFi play on top of subnets, because if it's a sports hedge fund, then it's a DeFi protocol. People come and put money on the vault, and then because of the model, they can get some yields eventually. So we were just trying to, I mean, it's all marketing too, because what happened, and it's interesting, is because we set up things in the way that the agent is a customer to the subnet, we now have people from the base ecosystem that are now more transfixed by Bittensor and DAO, because they had to learn about score and that they are with the agent, which is funny. So it was an experiment. It turned out to be something quite successful. People are excited about it. We've just shown with our small capabilities that we were able to do like a nice product. But I think the trajectory we wanted to take is let it be a community-driven asset that is tapping into the right subnets when the model actually needs data or training or whatever. That was how we were, thinking about it.
So does your company score by deking, or is that just it? So you still buy up that token?
So what we did is so that was a fair launch through. So we bought the token. So everything was still aligned with the Bittensor ethos. So fair launch, community driven. The agent itself has a treasury and keeps buying back the token, and everything is transparent, very simple. We're not making a point about not knowing if we go one way or the other. Score is the main company. The subnet is our main goal. We created a nice app, and we intend it to be a success, but we would like it to be a community success.
Nice.
My last question, what are you most excited about in like the next 6 or 8 weeks?
So yeah, I'm excited about people shipping real bridges to other chains, and moving tokens and making sure we can get Subnet tokens listed on exchanges. A bit of fresh liquidity could be a good news. So yeah, I'm always saying this too. So I'm way more excited about DAO as a whole than just my own little subnet. So yeah, I'm excited about
Damn straight. Yeah.
Damn straight. Simon, you got anything else?
Nope.
Good, because we are officially out of time. Thank you, Max. Siam, what have we got coming up?
We've just done Max. And then again, another double bubble. So at 18:30 today, UK time, we have two very interesting guests coming onto Revenue Search called Mark and Siam. I hear a couple of clowns are coming on to chat about the halving and also good and bad subnets. Oh, controversial topic.
Fantastic.
So God knows what they're going to say. But
I'm excited about that. 4 hours time.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what those two have to say.
Won't it? Wonderful. Well, thanks, Max. Really appreciate you coming on and answering as plainly and as briefly as possible.
Talk to you soon, guys. Cheers.
And also, like we say to like all subnet owners, like there is no cap to the amount of times you can come on here. So any new announcement, any new revenue-based announcement or development, just prod us, come on here and tell the world. Use us as a foghorn. So
wonderful stuff.
Amazing. Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Cool. Cheerio. Bye.